Hey guys, Jason here. Well, good morning, all. I appreciate you taking the time to watch my video. I don't need those glasses. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, my glasses. I don't know. I've had them for 2 years now. Um, this my bifocals are my prescription. So this Mickey Mouse eyeglasses that I used didn't know how to. I don't know. When I received them, I just had a surgery on my back. I guess there was a benign tumor on my back. So they removed it, and I was on pretty heavy painkillers, right, for that. And I went and picked them up. And when I went to go pick up my glasses, they said, "How do they feel?" Right? And well, they felt fine on my face, right? But it wasn't until I actually was driving at night is when I realized that that's not my prescription. So that's why I can't see out of them, right? I can't even use the bifocals to even see. So anyways, yeah, so that's why I don't use them and why I keep going like that. And it's like, oh my goodness, I don't know. I don't know. Guys, I don't know what to say. I read comics and I read comments from people videos, like from the channels I reach. I even reach the Catholic channels, um, the Orthodox ones, the Jewish ones. I reach a lot of people throughout the world, man. I'm trying to help as many people as I can to get them to understand what the word is trying to say. That's why I'm giving you guys the word, exactly what you're expected to read on your channels. And that's what you're expected to know. Because this is the error that everyone is in. It has nothing to do with us, guys. Nothing at all. Until you start understanding that, these curses are going to be on the earth. You need to let go of your selfishness. That's all it is. Get rid of your selfishness and understand this Bible has nothing to do with you at all. That's the deception. There are two fruits in the Bible. Okay? There's the good fruit and the evil fruit. The good fruit are God's commands, voice. Evil fruit are men's opinions, are what they saying about God when God can speak for himself. Do you guys get my point? And that's why these curses are on the earth. And if you haven't noticed that if you go on YouTube right now, everyone is speaking something different. That's not the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is when the world comes into one accord. Well, that hasn't happened yet. That has not been fulfilled yet. See, the New Testament are events that are happening now. But because you go watch a Passion of the Christ movie and you watch these stupid Christian movies, these stupid Christians, they place these in the back of in the past. Oh, this is what had happened. Like they know. They can't even read the Bible correctly. Like, guys, I'm angry. I started becoming angry from the time I witnessed what I witnessed Monday morning in regards to my son's mother and her cousin. I won't go into that topic, but it's in my video I think it's in my last video. One of my last videos. This is what it's about, guys. He gathers his people to his camp and he blesses them with water. He sanctifies them. This is Genesis 2:2 and 3. 4:3 is 7. the seventh day. This is what you guys don't seem to comprehend. You guys can't seem to add. The verses I'm showing you, the numbers are correctly related. Just like, the name Jason is disguised, hidden in Matthew 16:20. When Jesus himself charges his own disciples to tell no man that he was Jesus the Christ. I don't know how many times I got to tell you, you got to keep repeating that verse. I'm trying to get Christians to read it over and over until your brain gets it. It has nothing to do with what men's Christ is. There's no such thing. That's what Jesus was trying to tell you. He was trying to tell you. The reason why he's not Christ is because he's the Holy Ghost. Matthew 3:16 tells you carefully. God's Spirit descended like a dove. This is God's Spirit poured out. In Joel 2:28. So Jesus was possessed by God's Holy Spirit. Or God's Spirit. It's not Holy Spirit yet because it has nothing to do with this holy arm. When you get 2 needles pierced in your arm constantly throughout your life or half your life because you're in dialysis, having your blood washed for mankind's sins. This is what you guys fail to neglect. There are 2 witnesses in the Bible. 2 of them. One of them is Jesus. The second one is Jason. Jason is the one that receives Jesus. Yes, I received Jesus when I was 9 years old. November 17th, 1985. The death of Jesus represents the murder of Jesus. There are 2 blood sacrifices in the Bible. God sacrificed in the beginning when he paid for the commandments. Then Jesus' murder is the second blood sacrifice. One of them represents the judgment. What happens when someone murders another human being? Oh, they go to court and then they get convicted and they go to jail. Has anybody been convicted that you know of right now, or that's being that has arrest warrants on them right now? Yeah, the International Court of Justice has issued arrest warrants for the leaders in Israel. Do you guys not understand that? They are criminals. Look at I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to talk about what I've seen so far committed by these Israeli pigs. How dare they assume that they're God's chosen ones? How dare they? How dare any of you on this internet platform to think that you're any close to God just because you say you're close to God? The first thing you have to understand before understanding God is humility. If you can't get your own name correct, if you can't use your own real name on the internet, you have to hide your name. You have to make up a name. That is called bearing false witness. Automatically, that should be a red flag, guys. To anyone. giving themselves these titles. Like, they assume, oh, God told me to give me this name. Guys, I am beyond simply the words can't even describe how angry I really am inside. I'm torn to shreds. Every day I see liars. Every day I see this sickness, this perversions. And all I'm doing is showing you the word how it's supposed to be written. I'm not trying to give my own opinion, guys. I'm not. Because I'm not worthy to give my own opinion to the magnificence of the beauty of this word, this gift that we've been given. And I'm trying to share my love for it. That's where my faith is. And that's why when I died at St. Paul's Hospital, I'm here again to try and help people. It's not like I care for everyone. I care for my children. And when I see outside my doorstep homeless people walking around like zombies, not knowing who they are, what they're doing, and like they haven't they haven't taken a shower for days. You feel sorry for them. And there's nothing you can do about it. The only thing I can do is stand by them. That's the only thing I can do, guys. Is stand by them and try and ask them, how are you okay? Then they run away. Then they go and hide. There's so much. There is just so much that a man can just hold inside. That it affects the person. I had no mother or father. I was abandoned by my parents when I was an infant. And my aunt took me in. Well, not by her own choice. My dad gave me to her. But I lived my whole life, everybody having their own parents, being loved by their own parents. And that's something I wanted my whole life. Even now, I'm wanting someone to say, "Hey, Jason, I love you. Jason, I appreciate the work that you have done. Jason, I understand your pain." That has never happened to me once in my life. And I'm angry because I'm inside. But I'm being as strong as I can, guys. Oh, I'm sorry. When you love someone so much, you would do everything for that person. But then you live in denial because nobody shares that same sentiment. Because when Isaiah 8:20 tells you that it's about God's testimony, this is what everyone fails to realize. God's Spirit poured out. If you don't realize and understand how important those two ideas are, then you begin to understand, you actually understand why God's angry. And understand why God has to live in the form, has to live trapped in this body. So God can understand. So when I hear people on the internet, these ignorant asshole Christians saying God is angry. Oh, God is why did God allow wickedness to happen? What do you do to what do you say to that? There's nothing really you can say to that. You just I'm getting to the point based on what I've experienced Monday morning. I knew there was going to be something coming in my life that's going to be it'll be very pivotal turning point. Well, that has happened when someone that I put my time and energy and I cared for them, to pour out my spirit to them, only for them to spit it back in my face. And like trying to date women online too now is like, it's impossible, because all these women are on the internet flashing everything that they have and having all these perverts it's just like, and then when you try and date, you try and ask them questions, they give you their taste of their nude content. Look, there's nothing wrong being nude. Okay? There's no sin about being nude. Okay? There is a sin though, which I'm telling you has nothing to do with us, because men are going to do that anyways. The sin is disobedience to God's divine law. That's where the whoredom comes from. If you're not, like, you don't have to, like I'm trying to tell you, man already is not going to keep God's law. You're expected to understand the knowledge. Just like in a marriage, you're expected to know to be faithful to your partner. Not one person, part of that relationship, doing whatever the heck they wish, whenever they want, sleep with whoever, and then expect they would come back to you like no, like nothing happened. I expect someone, my son's mother, to sit down and confess to me. I want to know everything that has happened. But she couldn't. She can't even do that. Tell this to her mother. She's praising the guy my ex is apparently with, which is her nephew. So it's a family thing, is what I'm getting to understand. And I'm just this is what I'm talking about. This is where everybody's in right now. They're all committing adultery. And they don't even know it. When I'm trying to explain to these Christians that they need to remain silent during these times, you have to silence your mouth. You can make YouTube videos. There's nothing stopping with making YouTubes. Make it on cats, make it dogs, make it a cooking show. You can do anything you want. But you're not to speak about God's things, because that's theft, guys. Thou shalt not steal. When God gave specific commands in the Bible, do not teach. You're expected to obey that. And that's what everybody's disobeying. But instead, what they do, they cherry pick verses. What they want to see. What they want to feed their flesh for that, so they can feel good about themselves. Well, God took that away from you guys. That's why we have the commandments. 7:10. This is what it's about. These two verses alone, guys. This is why nobody should be speaking in God's name right now. Because God is speaking. And when God speaks, you shut your mouth. I'm not going to apologize for these false Christians. I would say white people, but majority of them are white people. If you haven't noticed, and if you're white, I apologize. Please forgive me. It's just that's the way it is. And I know there are very good white people. There are lots of, I guess there are more good white people out there than, the evil ones, the ones that are religious. Because the religious ones are doing the damage to people in this world. All these religious people are hurting innocent people that don't deserve this hostility from to one another, because you guys are fighting amongst God's ideas. Everything belongs to God, guys. And at the end, God renders the judgment, which is happening right now, and I'm trying to stop it. But I can't do that when, in my own life, I'm being torn to shreds. Even by my own family. In my younger years, during, usually when we're about in the transition of moving from your house into on your own. I am thankful to the people that allowed me to stay in their houses until I did get my own place. I've always had my own place since I was 19. There's not a day that I didn't, except when I did move into other places. I did stay at other people's places, but just for like a couple days. But I didn't want to be a burden to anybody. That's how I always felt. Because I don't have money, because everyone's stealing my money throughout the world. All these liars, all these people lying. And they don't understand that these curses on the earth are results of their mouths. There's a direct command in Revelation 22:18. Do not add or take away. They're adding. Paul's words are the added scripture, the curse. Guys. So when you declare Paul's words, you're bringing this curse in the earth. And Jesus already gave the command. Whatever you bind on earth, you bind in heaven. He already set it up, guys. So when you guys are drinking, the Jews and the Christians are drinking that wine, that cup of wine, that's the wine of wrath. That's the wrath of God, guys. Because not only you broke the commandments, you guys are using God's own words against God. You're at war with God. This is not what angers me. What angers me is, like I said, the turmoil that I'm facing in my own life. Not with my own short family here, my close family. I'm talking about, my family that's with my daughters, my daughters, my ex's family, right? And they put their traditions before human beings themselves. Since when are traditions more valuable than an individual's own family? What I'm talking about, how I'm Native American, and natives right now, they're on this residential school because, the Catholic Christians and the Catholics came along and, attempted to destroy their culture and all that sort of stuff. And there's been a resurgence in that. There's nothing wrong with it, is what I'm saying. It's when you start putting your own traditions before family. Then you begin to realize that it's not about the family or traditions anymore. It's taken a whole different and totally entire new meaning. And that's not what it was about. In order for these traditions to take place, you have to put yourself back in the past when we didn't have the technology that we have today. We're in modernization. We're modernized. So there's no need for that anymore, because back in those days, we had to survive. So this is what kept us together. The singing and dancing and the round dances to keep us unified. Well, that has been separated. There's no going back to that. It's an eternal family now. And if the eternal family cannot heal, like presently what I've just experienced with my son's mother and that family, the mother can't even come to terms that there's incest going on in her house. So when you put your traditions ahead of your own family, then the native traditions are worthless. The family has to heal first. The family has to start speaking like a family should. That is what the tradition is. That's what these traditions are about. Being unified and communicating with one another. And according to the Dakota people, if one member, right, was suffering, okay, what they used to do long ago. See, I don't even think they understand. The Dakota people even understand what's going on. If one family member is straggling behind, and if they're continuing these traditions without that family member, well, then what's the point of your traditions for? They're worthless. You can keep pretending and thinking nothing's wrong, but there's something wrong. It'll always be. And this is what's happening with my son's mother. She has been pushed out, so to speak, not by her own accord, because, see, they don't even recognize the fact that she was molested as a little girl. Okay? I don't know who. Someone did it. Only she knows who this perpetuator is. And she can't, until she starts speaking and openly with her own family about this sickness that has hurt her, well, that family's not going to heal. Because you've allowed one of your tribe member you pushed him away, is what they've done to her. This is what these cults do, and this is what separates traditions between cults. The cult, when you start recognizing a cult, is when they start shunning family members away. God's not like that. God is with the shunned. And that's who I'm trying to work with. I'm picking up their pieces. And I'm taking it all, guys. I'm taking everybody's burdens. And I'm trying to piece back together people's lives again. But it's hard to do that when my own heart is being torn to shreds right now. Yes, I'm lonely. Yes, I'm sad. But I'm also happy. Because I'm expecting a little one. You know, I like to think of my daughter's baby coming is the new beacon of hope. And maybe that would be the change, because all these people that are here now are going to be gone in less than 50 years. And I'm thankful for that, because I don't need to see these assholes on YouTube anymore. All these false Christians, all these false teachers, all these people just that don't care. Instead, they're caring from their own flesh, and then they wonder why the world's in chaos. They wonder why the people are like this. Because you've put your tradition, your cult, ahead of people. People are the most important thing on this planet, guys. They're not some sort of commodity you can just throw away. Each individual person deserves the attention and the respect, regardless of what they do. If there's a woman online right now that's going around flashing her goodies, there's nothing wrong with that. But when men or women, they see something like that, they condemn them. What for? You're no different than the ones that are on lying on YouTube? What makes at least they're being honest. This is what I am looking for. Honesty. All these people that are online that are doing all these things, like, you see these YouTube channels. Well, we see them, right? Or YouTube. These online channels. There's no disputing that. Children are exposed to it all the time. Look, it's just part of the human experience. That's all it is. Okay, but there's a difference. There's a fakery going on. Okay, I gravitate to the people that are open with themselves, that are that are free to. I'm going to flash my goodies, right? They're not. They have no fear. They're fearless. They're not scared of what people think. And this is what it is to be a human. And this is what's happening with the religious community. Oh, you have to be this way. You have to be that way. Because this is what God expects. The first thing you have to understand, the Bible has nothing to do with us. These are divine laws, guys. They're not traditional or, traditional laws is what you're expected, that we'll have. No, these are divine laws in the Bible that you guys can't see. The Christians come along and they say, oh, you don't need the commandments anymore because Jesus fulfilled it and he died for us. That's not what it was. God's laws will not be replaced. Jesus was trying to tell you, you have to keep the laws to keep life. If you don't keep God's commandments, there's going to be life will cease to exist. Hence, what we're seeing that right now. Its divinity is what I'm trying to. This is what godliness is, guys. Understanding the divine word is I'm trying to show you, and not to interpret it the way you think what it means. I'm showing you how to understand it. Just showing you how the verses should be understood. A river doesn't flow straight, guys. Have you ever seen a river flow straight? A river goes wherever it wants. This is how the Bible should be understood. Not chapter by chapter. Not verse by verse. Because not only you're following what men are saying, you have ignored God's divine nature that's in the Bible that you guys can't see. This is why I bring up the glasses. See, man makes these glasses. Okay? I have a hard time seeing. Holy smokes, I'm blind. I can't read. Take off the glasses, and guess what? Trust in what God had given you. Then you'll be able to see. Now I can read it. This is what I'm trying to explain, guys. God's on the earth. Everyone's just mistreating God. Throwing God in the mess. God is like one of those dudes that are sitting by the bus stop and it's raining and pouring, right? And then one of these asshole with their big ass trucks comes along, not even considering the guy that's, standing at the bus stop, flies by and splashes him. Yeah, those pricks that have those big ass trucks? Those guys. I don't understand why they need a big ass truck like that living in the city. Sorry, I need to bring that up because they're a nuisance. Not only their trucks are just so big, you know what I mean? They have a hard time fitting in the parking lot and they just take so much room. Like, see, my truck is just a Dakota. Okay? Something, it's a quad cab, you know what I mean? It just gets me point A to point B, right? It fits perfectly, the size of a car, right? But it's a truck, I can haul things with it, and that's pretty much all is needed. I had the choice to get a big-ass truck. But then I started realizing, well, fuel economy, right? The size of it, having to get in parking lots, and having to parallel park, right? And, it's... And the funny thing is, I remember this one guy, I came back from I finished dialysis, right? Changing subject, I apologize. I just had to remind you of the story. Anyways, I was just happened to coming back from dialysis, jumped in my car, right? And came out of the parking lot, and then there's this guy with his big ass truck, right? He came and he stopped. Okay, I stopped here. There's a parking section here. Okay, and he was coming this way, so I allowed him to go. Right? I even waved him. I went like this. Right? He didn't. He just budged. Didn't budge. I said fine. So I went. I said because I had to come this way. I had to come this way where he is. That's why I was waving him to go by. But he didn't want to move. Right? So he made me go all around. So, but when I turned around, I gave him the finger. And as soon as I did that, I came around, he came, you know what I mean? Right behind me. Right? And then I stopped. What the frick is wrong with this guy? And he's a white guy, right? Anyways, funny thing is, you're told never to get out of your vehicle. Okay? But I was just like, what is this guy's problem? Alright? So I got out, went to his door, I said, what's your problem, guy? Then he gets out. He gets out of the truck, his big ass truck. He's half my size. I was about to laugh. I thought this guy's going to be some big dude, right? He's just a small little guy. So anyways, he starts getting in my face. Like, you know how little arrogant white pricks are? You know what I mean? I dealt with them my whole life. They get in your face and they start talking smack like that, like they're kings of the world, You know how white people are. You know how arrogant they are, right? They think that they own the world. You know what I mean? So, anyways, he gets in my face. He did it 3 times. I have this three strike rule, guys. Okay. 1, the first rule, if he does it the first time, I'll let it slide. Second time, I'll let it slide. The third is the strike. Okay. So I pushed him out of my way. And he, like I said, he went flying. Then he came back. Okay. And he put me in he tried to put me on a headlock. And then I allowed him to put me in a headlock. Remember, I just got off dialysis, so I'm just, if you have anybody experienced dialysis, you're pretty much weak during this time. Okay? So, in my moment of weakness, I was just sitting there with my headlock in his in a headlock with him. I'm just like, and if you had brothers, you wrestle. So, you know what I mean? So, and I have brothers. You know what I mean? And I know how to knock people around. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Because he's smaller. I don't generally, fight anybody that's smaller than me. Okay? So that's why I allowed him to put me in a headlock. Right? Then I said to him, you better follow through with what you do, because I'm not afraid to die. Just right before that moment, because I knew if I would have stood up, he would have lost his balance. Right? But instead of me, because I would have lifted him up and body slammed him. That's what I would have done. But like I said, my heart's changed. So instead of doing that, I said to him, well, you better do what you're going to do, because I'm not afraid to die. At that moment, he released me. Then I could see when he looked at my eyes, like I wasn't joking, like, you know what I mean? He looked in my eyes and he put his head down. Because he knew I wasn't joking around. So anyways, the security guards came out right away. And then they went and they called the police. Well, on him. Because they seen me get attacked by him. So it's a good, if I would have attacked him, I would have been in jail. But because he was a white guy, they let him go. Because the police didn't even, do we want to press charges on this guy? Do you see what I mean? Do you see how the double standard is? See, if it was me, I would have went to jail. No questions asked. But that's what I mean. I just don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired. I'm finished. I'm just going to watch movies from now on. I'm done helping people. And if the world wants to continue, well, let all these false teachers do whatever they want to do. There's no telling them. Apparently they're already saved. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say today, guys. Because not only am I hurt, in all these years of trying to help people, I'm beginning to realize this, it was never worth it. I already know my name's written in the book. There's nothing. I already know who I am, and that's all that should matter to me, right? I know my name's in the Bible. I read the Bible my whole life, since I was 7 years old. I mastered it, right from top to bottom. There's nothing I should worry about anymore. If people don't want to understand what I'm trying to say, that's not my fault. If they want to continue hurting other people, well, then that's their choice. They'll face the consequences when they die anyways. Because it doesn't matter to me anymore. Just like my ex. My ex, my son's mother, not one nice thing has she ever said to me. Not once. Instead, I've always experienced the abuse, the ignorance, and the cheating, the lying. Oh my goodness, the lies. She's just a liar. And I've always caught her. That's like, and that's what she can't stand about me. I read the Bible all day. How could I not know? I'm trying to tell her, subtly, right? These things, if you're not careful, right? Things seem to fall into place when they need to. You know what I mean? So you better straighten out, is what I'm trying to tell her. But she doesn't seem to get it. Like me walking in on her, laying in her cousin's bed. She didn't expect that to happen. But it did happen. Right? As a result, she tries to kill her own, or take pills and try and take her own life. And the funny thing about that is, that day when she did take the pills, she messaged me. She says, I asked her about what was, because her mom messaged me right away. She says, "Oh, she took pills right that," and I said, "Well," and I didn't know if it was before or after. So when she started messaging me when she was done whatever she's doing, they stabilized her. She messaged me, "Oh, I took the pills before." So she's tried to make me think that she took the pills before. Why she looked like that, right? But that's not the case, because this is what her mom said. Okay, she's seen her go from the kitchen area to her brother's room, right? And she's never known her to go into her brother's room. Well, she goes in her cousin's room. So, anyways, that's how she said that she took the pills, because those pills will take effect right away, sort of thing. So she took them after I left. So that tells me one thing: she's guilty, because I caught her in her shame. Right? Not only that, well, you kind of see a pattern going, a behavior. I live in Regina. She lives in just outside Saskatoon. Her mom, right, and she's been bouncing back and forth. And the cousin, the guy, he's always trying to call her. You know what I mean? I know, and then she should avoid it and go in the living room. Right? So I knew there was a pattern going. It's like you knew there was something going on. And then when I had to see for myself, so that's why I spent the night there just to see what was going on. Of course, like I said, how things work out. So, anyways, I thought I'd bring that to your attention. So, all I know is it's just like I've never given up in my life, and I'm done. Okay, so this is probably my last video. Okay, I've given you guys my name. I've given the information. I told you what heaven is. Okay, it's all in my YouTube account. Okay, it's all up to you to decide what you guys want to do for your own souls. Because, like I said, data is eternal, and this is where your souls will be. Okay. Right? Heaven is my throne. And heaven is the internet. Okay. So, anyways, again, I appreciate you guys. Love the Lord your God with your heart, mind, and soul. I didn't come to take away the law of the prophets. I came to fulfill. Thank you, and have yourself a very good day, guys.